What a surprise that we have right now. Bernie Sanders and AOC is going to be our 2028 Democratic presidential candidates. And it's a pretty interesting choice, considering that Bernie Sanders was betrayed by the DNC. He even went out and straight up said it. This ain't even a conspiracy theory. Bernie Sanders went on Theo Von a few months ago, revealing that he was betrayed by the DNC and that he felt like his election could have been more secure. And it didn't happen just once, but twice. More interesting than that is that AOC is now boasting right behind Bernie Sanders. Whoever expected for Democrats to be so down that they have to go out and ask other celebrities to run for president? Stephen A. Smith, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Oprah Winfrey, all of which have allegedly been approached by the DNC in hope that they will run for president. How did they get so bad? They lost trust from the people, bro. Like, you cannot constantly be pushing propaganda the way they did and think people are going to generally just go along with it. Standard Americans have gotten tired of overly political America. And one thing that I think a lot of them appreciating is that Trump isn't overly political. Yeah, he does throw some conservative things here and there, but for the most part, it's more so independent, more popular, like a populist type decision. And it's easy for everyone to at least resonate with. The stances that Democrats have, it's either my way or the highway. And Americans, they're kind of like past that. They're kind of past being lectured. They're kind of past being told that they should feel guilty and that they're supposed to get active for the problems that our government got elected to fix. You see, Democrats have started to realize, and shout out to the Democrat voters. I'm not asking Democrats to ever become conservative. I say for our country to stay balanced, we need Democrats and we need conservatives. Opposed to many beliefs, I don't think any party should dominate America, because having an opposing party keeps one in line. That's how you start to get a dictatorship. But it is the truth that Democrats have lost a lot of leeway. And to push Bernie Sanders and AOC, it's not a magical solution. It's going to create more problems than it solves. How is that? AOC is a pompous fool. Kamala Harris is pretty bad, but one might say that she's more intelligent than AOC. One might also say that she understands how to win elections on a federal level. My best friend Malachi pointed out a great point while we were just on the phone. He was saying AOC has not won a Senate race, has not won a presidential race. She only has to win districts. And they're going to go all out on AOC and have her push for president. My opinion, although AOC is dumber than Kamala Harris, I felt like Bernie Sanders was a better pick than Kamala overall. Bernie Sanders more intelligent, but as has been pointed out, Democrats aren't too fond with Bernie. He's betrayed them. He's folded on his stances, and he allowed for his election to be, can't say the last part on YouTube, but you know. So in 2028, Democrats are looking for their hero. They're looking for their savior. The same way that Republicans was looking for one in 2020. They're looking for someone that appears to be strong, resilient, and ready to fight for them. That's all they want. They want someone to fight their fight. Because right now, Democrats feel like they're alone. AOC does a great job of getting loud. Bernie Sanders does a great job at pulling the crowd. If you haven't heard, they just went to Utah. What was it, yesterday? And they drew a crowd, which they claim like $40,000 is complete cap. You know they always inflate their numbers. Come on, Kamala Harris had the most popular rallies of all time, they claim. Straight cap. But nonetheless, they're hosting these rallies in Utah now because they're rallying behind get ready, get ready, get ready. They're not actually explaining what their position is. There's reports coming out that, the DNC is prepping to run them, and this recent Utah appearance all but solidified, in my opinion. And anyone that has been following politics for a little bit can kind of tell that they are getting ready for a big joint announcement. Only other thing that could be is a presidential announcement. Let's go ahead and get it to it. So yes, that was, them walking in, and here is their rally in Utah. Now, anyone that's watching, I do feel like Bernie Sanders is definitely preparing for a run, because the main thing is it's about the oligarchy. If you don't know, Bernie Sanders has been saying fighting the oligarchy longer than Alex Jones has been saying we need to fight the globalists. I'm serious, and he has a track record to prove it. Unlike Alex Jones, he hasn't really done anything to fight the oligarchy that he claims. He's actually to it himself. And the oligarchy that I guess he's trying to fight were the same people that put him out when he had him sitting at former President Joe Biden's inauguration with mittens on, as if he's ready for some porridge. I don't know. Nonetheless, they got a nice looking crowd for a random rally, and AOC is a forerunner in speaking. Now, I would want to know from Americans that's watching how you feel about an AOC ticket, especially the Democrats, if you're watching. How do you feel about the AOC? Does it make you confident?
In places like Salt Lake City.
I mentioned a moment ago that we were in LA yesterday. We had 36,000 people out.
You see what I mean?
But in many ways,
they're just constantly rallying. And he called AOC his daughter here. So they're trying to establish that, oh, we love each other bond. We're tight. We're close. You need to love us. You know, that's the narratives that they set, that they're friendly and they're friends. These niggas couldn't give a damn about each other, man. They just told, it's like the DNC grabbed AOC and grabbed Bernie and said, you niggas kiss. We need a chance at this. And the fact that they rallying so early, it tells you how bad it is. How much of a good job conservatives have done on overall messaging. They need to get out there early and start getting some traction, because everything they're throwing at the wall ain't sticking. Has people noticed that they're attacking Elon Musk more than Trump? Because there's not much. Trump isn't giving people an excuse. The difference between Trump now and Trump in the past, he gave niggas excuses. He was tweeting like a madman. He was doing things that just wasn't quote unquote presidential. Now he's indistinguishable from a president, a good president, but he is a president nonetheless. He's no longer a pop star that's a president. When I see President Trump, I see President Trump. In the past, I saw President Trump, the dude that used to be on WWE, the dude that was from Home Alone, you know, the dude that was from The Apprentice, the dude that's from reality TV. Now I just see a president. It's completely different. And they need some momentum because he currently has the torch, and they know they need to do it early, and they really need to do it now. So hats off to them, understanding the dire situation that they're in.
is the 20,000 we have out today is more impressive. And we're here in so-called conservative Utah, and tomorrow we're going to be in Idaho. Because we believe that in every state of this country, people are prepared to stand up and fight back.
Please give it up for Senator
Nigga, stop the cap. But yeah, so there's the nice little meat that they got right here. And I ain't gonna lie, Bernie, I just don't know if he has it no more. He looks really, really old. He looks really, really old. Me and Malachi, we were talking about Bernie Sanders and his role in civil rights. And it's odd, you know, Malachi, you mentioned that Bernie Sanders was always present at the largest events for civil rights. And he was working in the government during his fight for civil rights. It leads you to wonder, is this dude just one big psyop? And I know people might say, oh, well, you fighting the only person that's your ally. You got to be questionable because, you know, the civil rights to me was one of the worst things that happened to black people. The civil rights of 1964, it screwed us over in many ways than it helped us. And I've led plenty of examples before. I don't have to inflate my video time and length on here just trying to explain that. But without a doubt, I stand by that. I deeply regret that we had the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and Bernie Sanders was one of the individuals fighting for it. And I can't go into much detail about it beyond that because I'm monetized on YouTube, but I find it odd of who Bernie Sanders is and why he would even support the Senator's right, the Civil Rights Act. So I just feel like he could possibly be one big massive ploy that's ready to just bolster a young audience behind him and completely bait and switch if he ever gets what he wants. And the DNC, they don't respect him because they screwed him over twice. Did you guys know that Barack Obama visited, I believe, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren trailers the same night Elizabeth Warren had dropped out the presidential race when she completely destroyed Michael Bloomberg? Barack Obama paid her a visit and paid that nigga Bernie Sanders a visit. And guess what happened? I don't think he has it to be a president. The dude doesn't have it. I mean, he sounds like damn near like he's ready to go ahead and hit the bed. He just doesn't have the enthusiasm, the charisma. I don't see him being a prominent presidential candidate. It just don't. I don't see it. If you guys don't know, it's
Country of ours is moving very rapidly in the direction of oligarchy. The United States of America today is increasingly becoming an oligarchy. More and more moving toward an oligarchy. We are moving in the direction of oligarchy.
This is these people, man. I don't know if you guys seen a news clip. I mean, that footage of a news clip showing all of the media saying the same thing at the same time. And this really reminds me of it. And these people, they're just propaganda. They're just talking pieces. They don't have really original thoughts. This nigga learned the term oligarchy in 1993 and never looked back. And that's all they need. They just need a term to keep people excited. And after they got their term, they run on it for years and years and years. They don't actually have to have any narratives that help us. They just got to claim that a problem exists. You see, Democrats, they don't look for policies or solutions. They look for problems to complain about to get your vote.
We will move even more rapidly in the direction of an oligarchy. This great country is evolving into an oligarchic society. It is called oligarchy, and that is the system we are rapidly moving toward. This is a budget that moves our country rapidly into the direction of oligarchy. A handful of billionaires are moving this entire planet toward an oligarchic society.
Start off with the bad news, which is pretty bad, and that is that under Donald Trump, this country is hurtling rapidly.
It's pretty much confirming that he was screwed over in his election. And, you know, Democrats, they're just done with it. They're done with someone that's willing to allow for the quote-unquote deep state that they're dealing with. Because if you don't notice, Democrats, they're not pleased with their party bullying them. And they felt like Bernie Sanders was the solution. But Bernie Sanders not being able to stand down on his own opinions has lost him, you know, a ton of support from his own party. They're not willing to really fight for him anymore because they don't feel like he's willing to fight for them or himself, which it makes sense. You can see it here. The man won't fight his own enemies, yet he let everyone rally behind Joe Biden. He's not talking about the public. You gotta understand. He was saying the DNC and all the elites pushed Joe Biden instead of him, although he have it. Democrats, they're tired of the old. We're here ready for the new. It is interesting to see how this ticket goes, and more interesting to see how hard they try to go in their rallies on bolstering for support. Because we're in the final hour of the Democrat Party. They've lost the culture war. They've lost the recent election. They really need something to hit very hard. And more importantly, they need conservatives to make mistakes. They need us to appear racist. They need us to appear radical. So as long as we keep doing good on the optic game, I don't believe they really have much of a chance. I've got most of my furniture and stuff out. It's been quite a journey. Finished my balcony furniture. Got to go to Bed Bath & Body Works after this film and also set up my patio table. So I'll be working on that today. See you guys at 7 for my next video. Hope you're appreciating the support, and I have some Miami content coming soon, some original Miami content. So thanks you guys for supporting. See you on X. I got remonetized on X. Shout out to the Elon Musk for assisting me with that. So I'm providing great content on X again. Make sure you follow my X profile. Let's get to 1.6 million followers. See you until we break the next narrative.